Hamlet has some serious issues. His father's died, his mother's remarried his uncle, and he just lost his throne. It's a pretty bad time to be the Prince of Denmark, and Hamlet gets pretty depressed over the whole ordeal and dresses in all black. Well, the ghost of his dead father has been skulking around the kingdom, and Hamlet's best friend Horatio tells him that he should go talk to it. Hamlet, Horatio, and Bernardo, a character that you'll never see again in the play, wait outside in front of the castle one night when the ghost shows up and shakes the earth. The ghost tells Hamlet that his brother, Hamlet's uncle, murdered him, and that Hamlet needs to avenge him. To bring his plans to fruition, Hamlet decides to pretend to be crazy so nobody would suspect anything was going on, which is just a great plan. Well, Hamlet wasn't always as melancholy as portrayed in the play, and he did have the 14th century equivalent of a girlfriend. Her name was Ophelia, and her father Polonius was a member of the court. Polonius found out about Hamlet and Ophelia and warned Ophelia that Hamlet was just using her. He told her to stop seeing Hamlet, otherwise he would ruin her life. Well, Ophelia, being the good listener that she was, stopped seeing Hamlet. This happened just at the same time Hamlet began acting crazy. 2 months passed, and most everyone began worrying about Hamlet's lack of sanity. Hamlet, who may or may not be crazy at this point, confesses his love to Ophelia one day, which sends her into a panic. I mean, anyone would be a little worried when some loony that has been mad for 2 months shows up and says, "I love you." She rushes to her father, who immediately comes to the conclusion that Ophelia's rejection of Hamlet is the root of Hamlet's madness. He immediately consults King Claudius, the same uncle of Hamlet from before, and they devise a plan to use Ophelia to calm Hamlet down. The king and Polonius set up a trap with Ophelia and lie in wait for Hamlet. Their timing was very poor. Throughout the play, Hamlet is bouncing between mania and depression, and this is one of those depressive times. Hamlet walks in and gives his famous to be or not to be speech, a moment where he is at his most reasonable and also his most unstable. Ophelia shows up and attempts to apologize to Hamlet, but Hamlet is extremely upset. He freaks out and suggests that Ophelia should head to a brothel, also known as a nunnery as used in the play. Remember, the entire time this is going on, Claudius and Polonius are watching. Ophelia, who wanted to genuinely apologize, becomes very distressed and eventually commits suicide in a small creek. Claudius, however, is just beginning just to fear for his life. Hamlet's next major outburst was directly after he sees Claudius praying. Hamlet hits the high water mark of rationality when he sees Claudius in a confessional by deciding not to kill him. He did not want Claudius to go to heaven after murdering his father and decides to kill him when he is committing a sin. Hamlet goes to speak to his mother and snaps, becoming enraged. He gets so angry that he throws reasoning to the wind and kills Polonius, who was hiding behind a curtain, trying to eavesdrop on their conversation. This was the major star of Hamlet's undoing because it led to him doing Laertes, Polonius' son, and him getting poisoned. Hamlet has one last outburst of emotion after finding out that Ophelia drowned herself because of him when he sees her being interred into a grave. The last act of the play has Hamlet in a brighter, albeit morbid mood, and ends with him dying after killing Laertes, Ophelia's brother, and Claudius, the man he has been so angry with. In the end, though, everybody dies except for Horatio.